my roommates, we decide, hey, we're going to start a little housewarming party. We throw a housewarming party. We invite everybody in the building. Some people come, some people don't. It's a good time. It's fun. Mm-hmm. Later that week, I go to the coffee shop next to my house. And there, I see a girl who was at our housewarming party. I say, hey, how are you doing? She says, oh, I'm doing okay. She goes, oh, what are you doing later? And I'm like, oh, I've got a comedy show. And then she says, oh, I could really use a laugh. And then I take that. That's like how girls ask you out, is they don't ever ask you out. They simply like present themselves. Right. Like if a guy wants to ask a girl out, he'll say like, what are you doing on Friday? Yeah. But if a girl wants to ask a guy out, she'll say, I'm not doing anything on Friday. It's like a weird reverse thing where it's like girls be like, I'm not doing anything, and then they just wait for you. So she's like, oh, I could really use a laugh. And I'm like, oh, you should come to the comedy show. She's like, yes, I'd love to. Perfect. So we're planning to go to the show at like 8 o'clock. 7 o'clock rolls around. I'm texting her, no response. So I'm like, okay, this girl just ghosted me. She was just giving me like a nice, like, oh, we'll do something later. Fine, whatever. Yeah. I go to the show. I'm still an open micer, so I don't get on the show. It is a lottery bucket. So I go, I sign up. I didn't get the lottery. I go home. Then at like 9 o'clock, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm on my way to the show. Yeah. And I'm like, there is no show. It's over. I didn't get on it. Don't worry about it. But she's like, oh, I already called an Uber. So I'm like, oh, well, why don't we just go out for drinks and have fun? Yeah. So we go out. We have drinks. We have a great time. We're like, oh, let's do this tomorrow. The next night, we go on an official date. I love going on dates. I'm very bougie, so I pick a nice restaurant. We go. I order appetizers, bottle of wine. Things are going great. End of the night, we go back to her place. We sit and we watch a movie. What movie do we choose? A Marriage Story. Now, I don't know
what the fuck are you thinking,
I love romantic comedy movies. It popped up. It was the first one, and I'm like, I want to watch this fucking movie.
Is that even a comedy?
It is.
I didn't laugh more than like 3 times. That was one of the most depressing fucking movies I've ever seen.
That is true. I was laughing in the beginning. 15 minutes into the movie, though, she falls asleep. And we're up at her place. But we live in the same apartment building. Right. So she falls asleep, but she's like kind of leaning on me. So I'm like, I could either wake her up and go home, but I'm kind of into this movie now. So I'm just going to watch this fucking movie. So I'm like with this new girl, and now I'm watching a movie about a couple getting divorced. And that's really setting the scene for the future of this relationship. Where I'm like, okay, she's asleep, things are going well, but I need to be careful because fucking Kylo Ren is actively getting divorced, and it does not look like it's a pleasant situation.
No.
The movie ends, I take it in. The next day, we start hanging out. We start dating a little bit. Boom. Quarantine happens. Now, we live fucking 10 feet from each other. Yeah. Quarantine just happened. We're in that, like, lovey-dovey stage of the relationship where you're like, all I want to do is, like, cuddle with you and watch movies and hang out. So we get to do that forever. Like, there's nothing else to do but to hang out and to, like, watch movies and, like, be coupley. So we go from, like, a month into the relationship to 5 years into the relationship, like boom, fucking right away. Because we're in it.
There's no escape.
We pretty much start living together.
My God.
So we're dating, we're living together. It's her birthday, so I go meet her family, and I fucking crush with families. I love dads. I love meeting a good dad. So I'm like, her dad, I go over there, and I know I did well with her dad because at the end of dinner, he's like, why don't you come out to the garage with me? And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, that means I won.
That's a win, yeah.
And he's like, this is my Harley. And he has a Harley Davidson, the actual one from the movie X-Men. He's got the one that Wolverine rides in X-Men, and he like loves Wolverine. Yeah, look up the X-Men Wolverine Harley Davidson. So he's showing me his Harley. I'm like, oh, I'm killing it, blah, blah, blah. Things are going well. The relationship continues. A couple months ago, the world starts opening up. We start hitting some skids. There are some faults in the relationship that begin to become apparent. And then I don't know how to wrap this story up other than to say, and then we broke up about a couple. And I think because of the marriage story in the beginning, I think that the constant worry of like, oh, if I get married, I'm gonna get divorced. I'm just thinking about the future. Blah, 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 blah. So like about a month ago, we break up.
Yeah.
I've been unemployed this whole time, but like we break up and then I get that like I need to change my life motivation, that like, oh, I just got out of a relationship, but now I need to make myself into like the perfect specimen. So I start doing more yoga. I need to be the perfect specimen. So I start doing yoga.
What kind of message boards are you reading?
The bad ones.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
I'm kidding. So I get a new job. I go into the new job and I get hired. It's I won't say exactly what the place's name is, but it rhymes with Boldman Sachs. So I start working at this new job, and at the end of the day, I get hired. I'm talking to one of my coworkers, and I go, "Hey, I didn't catch your name," and she goes, "Oh, hi," and I go, "No, I didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't understand what your name was." She goes, "Hi." And I'm like, am I having like a mental breakdown or a stroke right now?
Yeah.
And she shows me her Instagram. And she's like, no, my name is literally Hi. I'm Chinese. And then I'm like, oh. And then I have like a little stroke moment. And then now we started talking. So now I've got a flirty, fun relationship with one of my coworkers.
Fun.
I just got out of a relationship, and we're here. And it's been pretty good. The new job's great though.
At Boldman Sachs, you said?
Yeah, I serve food to customers at a company called Goldman Sachs. No.
Huh.
But it's not actually Goldman Sachs, I just thought. But yeah, that's been
I
good.
was gonna say, you're the enemy now?
No, I'm not. I'm an insider.
Good.
That's been great. But that's been my relationships lately, which have been pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But some other I recently I lit my car on fire. That was a big accidental thing that happened. A lot of people haven't done that. But here's the deal. I like to
I
smoke.
think most people haven't done that.
I like to smoke weed when I go to the gym. I think it's like the best way to go to the gym. A lot of people say they don't like working out. And I'm like, well, what do you do before you work out? Or like getting amped up? You got to drink like 3 cups of coffee, smoke some weed. So I'm smoking my joint on the way to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I get to the gym. I put my joint out. I go inside. I work out. I parked on the top of a parking garage.
Mm-hmm.
When I come back to my car, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that I had tinted windows. Like, my windows look very tinted right now. This is so interesting. I open up my car, and just a plume of smoke comes out at me. And where my car passenger seat was has just completely melted into, like, a plastic mash. Apparently, the joint that I smoked, I didn't fully put out. I had one of those hemp wicks. Do you know about these hemp wick things?
I have many.
Yeah,
in
you
the
light
house.
a hemp wick, and then you use that to light the joint. But what they don't tell you is that the ember of the hemp wick, if you don't dip it in water or something, it has a tendency to keep going because that's the whole purpose of a wick. And it lit my car fully on fire. So then I come out from the gym, but I'm still in that like post-workout feeling good, like pump. So I just like open up, I just start laughing. Like, I don't know what else to do. I just ruined my car, but the car still works. So I just like took towels and I'm just like wiping the ash off of the windshield, off of the windows. And then I just drove it home, and that's just my car now. Like, some people are like, oh, sorry, my car's dirty. And I'm like, oh, sorry, my car's a little bit burnt. Instead of a passenger seat,
Yeah.
I have something that was formerly lit on fire.
Interesting.
Yeah. But, that's just part of life and how it is.
Is it?
I think so. I've had like
Lighting your car on fire is part of life?
I think doing reckless things is kind of a part of life, and just having fun and having crazy stories,
Sure.
You got to do it.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I want to, for today's episode, I want to dive into some of the crazier stories that when people see my face, they do not expect at all, because I look like a small child.
Yeah. you
So, when I was a teenager, I used to. No, let's start at the beginning. I'm 16 years old. It's mid-January. I'm one of the first of my friends to have a car. So a lot of my friends are like, "Hey, can you drive me different places?" And I'm like, "Yeah." One of the guys comes up to me. We're friends. We're kind of friends, but I know he's a little bit of a bad kid. I'm like, ooh, this is one of the kids I should be wary about. And he says, "Hey, Avery, can you drive me to the bad part of town?" And I say, I can't do that. And then he goes, what if I paid you $10? And I said, no deal. And he goes, what if I paid you $20? And I'm like, that sounds like a deal. So we drive to the bad part of town, and on the way we stop at a 7-Eleven, and he goes to buy a Slurpee, but he gets a metal straw for the Slurpee, and then he pours the Slurpee out and doesn't drink it. So I'm like, oh, interesting. What do you need a metal straw for? That's very odd. And then he cuts the metal straw in half, and I'm like, ooh, we are in an adventure right now. I don't know what is about to happen. So then we go to like a little house in the bad part of town.
Sure.
We're there. There's cartoons on. It's a table filled with cigarettes, and people are smoking weed. And I look like I do now, like a baby-faced boy, but even more of a baby-faced boy. So we're sitting down. We're hanging out. We're clearly waiting on a guy, and I don't know what he's about to buy, but I've heard rumors of things that he buys in the past, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm in a fucking situation right now. Dude comes over, they make the deal, we're all hanging out, breaks out the fucking big-ass slushy straw, starts packing it with some copper wire, and I'm like, oh, in my head, I'm like, are they about to smoke fucking crack?
Hell yeah,
But I'm
dude.
16 years old, so that doesn't occur to me. Like, I don't mentally put it together, like, oh, these people are about to smoke crack. So then they fucking start smoking crack. What do people in crack houses do? At that point, I looked around, I'm like, cartoons on the TV, ashtrays everywhere. Pizza boxes, everything's dirty. A guy just came over and they gave him money. Am I in a fucking crack house right now? So they start smoking crack, and here's what I gotta tell you. If you're 16 and you're very sad, crack looks like it's kind of fun. And it looks like it's a little bit of a treat.
Sure.
So they're doing it, and then eventually I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I will try this as well. It looks like an exciting it looks like an exciting endeavor. So I hit the crack pipe. I still, in my head, I'm not like I'm smoking crack. I'm like, oh, what is this mystery drug that I'm doing?
Right.
I'm just like deluding myself. I like take a big hit, and then I blow it out because it chokes you out because it's horrible drugs that are literally killing you.
What does it taste like?
It tastes like diesel fuel and chalk.
Okay.
Like, it's got such a, like, there are things that smell like crack
Sure.
where I will be walking around and I'll be like that smells like somebody around is either like pouring diesel fuel or they're having crack.
Yeah.
So I take a big hit, and then I blow it out immediately, and then they all get fucking mad at me. Because they're like, you wasted that crack. And I'm like, I can't even smoke crack right? I'm just trying to relax here, and now everybody's getting mad at me for smoking crack wrong? And they're like, no, you gotta hold it in. So it feels like, a lot of people are like, what does crack feel like?
Yeah.
And the best way I can describe it is, imagine you're walking down the street alone, and then all of a sudden, somebody peeks their head out of the window and starts clapping for you. And they go, great job. And then you keep walking, and then more people start coming out of the street, and they go, you're a fucking champion, dude. Just want to let you know, you're a fucking champion. And then all around you, people start coming out of everywhere, and they're like, you're the fucking man, and I just want to know that I love you and you're awesome. So it's like a chorus of things coming up and just like caressing you and loving you. And then as it starts to fade away, it's like all of those people begin to turn on you. And then as like you go from the peak to the come down, it's like everybody's looking at you and going like, we were fucking with you.
Sure.
You're actually a piece of shit. Just wanted to let you know, you thought you were great. You're actually, so it's like this huge psychotic peak of confidence followed by this debilitating paranoia, like this extreme paranoia. So I'm going up, down, up, down. Eventually, I'm just like, I just have to leave. I'm like, we do it a few times. I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm fucking leaving. I gotta get out of here. So I leave.
You're still high on crack when you leave.
Well, it doesn't last that long, but I'm still.
How long does it last?
Like 5 minutes. Like 5 to 7 minutes. It's like boom, boom, and then then you're in like a weird fugue state of like you've just done crack. Like your brain isn't working. You're just kind of messed up. So I'm going out to my car. My friend's like, "Are you okay?" Okay. I'm like, "Yeah, I just gotta go home."
Yeah.
But I look at myself in the mirror of my car and I'm like, I cannot fucking go home right now. Like bags under my eyes, like white face, looking like an absolute crazy person.
Yeah.
So I just go to McDonald's because I'm like, what do? You just
you're a crackhead now. You have to go. To
I'm like, what do crackheads do? They sit in McDonald's. So I go to McDonald's and I ordered a blue Powerade and I just sat at the booth drinking a blue Powerade. And somebody from my high school worked at that McDonald's. So they saw me and they came over and they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you right now, dude? They're like, you look like you just ran a marathon. Like, what the fuck is happening to you? And I'm like, no, everything's good. I'm just a little tired today. Just not feeling well. And they're looking at me. And then I just eventually, I just go home and I go to bed. And then it began my adventures of sometimes smoking crack.
Oh, so you wanted to do it again?
I didn't want to.
That.
I was invited to, and then it became something where I'd like already done it. And then instead of going to the bad part of town, like I lived north of Detroit. I lived in like the northern suburbs, so it was like a 40-minute drive from Detroit.
Yeah.
And we went to like the bad part of town that was like 10 minutes away. But then these guys were like, oh, Avery's got a car. He can drive us places. Hey, Avery, do you want to drive us to Detroit? And then I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And then they're like, we'll pay you $20. And I'm like, no. And they're like, we'll pay you $50. I'm like, oh, okay, it's a lot of money to a 16-year-old. So I begin driving them to like the east side of Detroit, like Cashew, like the areas where police currently won't go. So we start driving down there. And it's just me looking like a baby, my two other friends from the suburbs, and then grown men who actively sell crack and heroin.
Fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was a treat. At one point, somebody looks at, I can remember sitting there, and then a guy looks at me, and he goes, why are you so scary? And I'm like, I'm not scary. I'm the least scary person here. And he's like, no, you look scary. And I'm like, I'm not scary. And then the other guy goes like, no, like you're scary, like you're scared. Why are you scared? And then I'm like, I'm in a crack house in Detroit right now, and I'm a small little boy. Of course I'm fucking scared. But eventually I stopped, crack loses its allure after a while. And I was never like a crackhead. I just did it recreationally. Like I wouldn't.
What the fuck? What's the difference?
Because a crackhead, like I didn't do it every day. It was just like an every once in a while thing. It was like every once in a while. This was right around the time I dropped out. Yeah, it was just like on Fridays or maybe like once a week. They'd be like, "Hey, you want to drive?"
Sure, yeah.
And I'd be like, "Yeah, I want to drive."
I do that all the time.
Fun.
Yeah,
it's a little casual crack.
Yeah.
It's also strange too with how casual everybody is about cocaine. In bars and clubs and things, and then how weird it is about crack. And you're like, it is technically, like, there is a big difference, but it's technically the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you're snorting crack in the bathroom of a bar, or if you're snorting coke, it's the same thing as if you were smoking crack in the bathroom of that bar. Like, it's just as fucking bad for you. You don't think so?
I mean, being a person who's never smoked crack, I can't give you an objective opinion on that. I will say that I'm pretty sure snorting coke doesn't make you feel like the world hates you on the come down.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it is a little steeper come up, a steeper come down.
Yeah.
That's probably correct.
Also, drugs are bad. Don't do drugs.
Yeah, don't do drugs. I don't do drugs.
But if you're forced to do drugs, and coke and crack are the two drugs that you're forced to do
coke.
Maybe coke is the better
Let's do
option.
coke.
Yeah.
But eventually, I just fucking stopped. I did like I had some friends who were heroin addicts, and I tried heroin, and I didn't like it.
Shut the fuck up.
Like a lot of people are like, heroin is the best
fuck
thing.
are you
I
talking
didn't.
about?
I hate opiates. Like anytime I've taken opiates, I've been like, I'm bored as shit.
Isn't heroin supposed to be like the coming a million times at once? Like it's the best feeling in the world?
Maybe for some people, I didn't like heroin. It honestly made me just tired and bored. Like it put me into like I'm falling asleep. I'm tired. I'm bored. I did not enjoy the experience. I was like, I want energy. I'm like, I'm like a fucking. I have ADHD, so I need fucking like constant stimulus.
Yeah, you seem
and
like
energy.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I'm like, give me something that grinds my gears. Whereas like heroin and opiates, I was like, I'm just tired and bored.
Yeah.
Like I'm a sleepy man. This is no fun. I want to fucking.
That's why I don't like indica.
I get that.
Yeah.
I want the. Is there as a quick pivot though? I've heard there's no difference between indica and sativa, and that they figure out the difference between indica and sativa by somebody smoking them. And then they go, this made me feel couch locked, so it's an indica. This made me feel anxiety, so it's a sativa.
I mean, from as far as I know, like indica leaves are fat and sativa leaves are thin.
Okay.
Like but I don't fucking know anything.
I've heard so many different things.
Because there's different there's different kinds of dogs or trees. There's different kinds of weed.
True.
And I think that sativa's thin and indica's thick. And I like being in my own head.
Yes.
When I'm high,
mm-hmm.
Get some work done, get some thinking done.
Yeah.
And apparently that's what sativa does.
Okay.
But again, I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know anything.
To bring this full circle with weed, the reason I was smoking crack was because I was on probation at the time and being drug tested. And crack gets out of your system in 2 days, but you can't smoke weed if you're being drug tested. So I was like, oh, I can't get high off weed. What are some other fun options? Boom. You end up with the bad stuff.
Yeah.
But I was actually on probation. Did I tell you that when I was 16, my friend and I broke into a gas station at night and robbed it for cigarettes?
No, you never told me.
I didn't tell you this?
No.
All right, so let's set the scene. I'm 16. It's the day before my junior year of high school. At this point, I am a teenage alcoholic. Mm-hmm. My parents are both dealing with their own alcoholism. And because I had head injuries from a young age, I've had these weird symptoms. So every single night from like the ages of 12 to 17, in order to go to bed, I'd take like 4 to 5 shots, and then I just go right to bed. It became like my little routine, my little medicine.
Sounds healthy.
So it's the day before junior year starts. I'm doing my little drinkies. I'm on my Facebook. I'm just hanging out. One of my friends messages me, and he says, hey, can you drive me somewhere? And I say, it's late at night. What are you talking about? Blah, 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 blah. He details this Ocean's 11 shitty plan to go break into a tobacco store nearby. He's like, I'm just going to throw a rock through the window. I'm going to run in, steal a bunch of cigarettes. You're going to drive. And I'm like, sounds like a horrible idea. So I say, no. And I'm very easily motivated by money and items. So he's like, I'll pay you, blah, blah, here's da-da-da-da. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just driving. I'm not going to get into any trouble. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
So I go, I pick him up. We're driving around. We're scouting fucking locations. All of the tobacco stores have bars on the windows because they don't want stupid kids trying to fucking break in and steal cigarettes. Mm-hmm. So eventually we're like, fuck it. We found a gas station. And he's like, okay, here's the deal. We stop by a parking lot. We go in like those middle median things and just get a big rock. And we're driving around. We find this gas station. He's like, all right, here's the plan. You're going to drop me off. I'm going to go in and break in. I've got a bag. I'm going to steal all the cigarettes. And then we're going to you're going to pick me up around here. And then we're going to drive home. And it's going to be great. So I drop him off. He runs in. He's got a bag. He's got a mask like the little fucking 16-year-old hooligans we are. I go to the meeting location, and he's not there. And now I start to freak the fuck out. I'm like, oh, did he get caught by the police? Is the alarm going off? Blah, 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 blah. So I drive around to another location. He comes running out, and at this point, I kind of black out with anxiety. Like, I don't remember any of this happening. I only saw it on the surveillance videos later. But I then am like, I want to go in, and I don't have shoes on either. That's a big part of this.
Yeah.
So he comes to the car, he sits in, he's got like a bag full of fucking like Newports and Pall Malls because we're bougie and bad. And then I'm like, I want to go in too. So then I get out of the car, I run through the store. I don't have shoes on, so I'm stepping on broken glass and it's just cutting the fuck out of my feet. I'm going behind, I'm like stealing Marlboro Blues and like Marlboro Lights and just being just drunk and stupid and manic. And then I come back out to the car. I go in a fucking again and get another, just stealing shit. We're coming out. We're driving home. We're listening to like fucking Tupac. We think we're the coolest things in the world. We're like, we did it. We did it. And then the next day I wake up and I'm like, oh, I have fucked my whole life up. I just ruined my entire life. That was the stupidest thing I could have ever done. The next day, there are pictures up at the gas station, like people and...
Well, your foot blood is all over the place.
My foot blood is everywhere. I go to one of my friend's moms who's like, he'd been in trouble with the police before. I'm like crying. I'm like, I broke into a gas station. I don't know what to do. She's like, you got to get a lawyer. You got to turn yourself in. Like, there's no other option. Like, you can try to fight it, but you're fucked. So I go tell my mom. At this point, my parents are divorced, so my father isn't there. And I like sit her down and I'm like, Mom, I robbed a gas station. Like, that gas station that got robbed, that was me. And she's like flippantly disappointed. she's
yeah.
she's more disappointed that it's like a shame to her than it is like, oh fuck. She's like, well, you've ruined our good name in this city. And I'm like, you already ruined our good name. But so I get a lawyer. We turn ourselves in. I go to court later, and the judge. I cry on all the time when I'm in bad situations, and I look like this. So the judge was like super lenient on me and my friend,
Of course.
because they're like, okay, these are just two 16-year-old kids. This one, his parents just got divorced.
Yeah.
Like this other one looks like a degenerate.
Right.
And
they're white.
And they're
let's let 'em
white.
go.
Exactly. So we're going to let them go.
Yeah.
And they let us go. But then I got probation for a long time. And then while I was smoking weed aggressively before this, and then I couldn't smoke weed anymore.
Mm.
So then when I was on probation, that's when I'm like, oh, what can I do to become inebriated? And then that's why I'm like, oh, hard drugs. And that's why weed should be legal. And you shouldn't. You should let kids smoke it.
Yeah. Well, okay.
No, don't let kids smoke
Wrong.
weed.
No.
Bad.
Don't let kids. Well, this is, I think.
These
why
are
you
warning
shouldn't
stories.
Let kids do anything.
These are all warning stories of why, yeah. And if you're a parent, maybe pay attention to your kids.
Lock your kid in their bedroom until
Pay
they're
attention
18.
to your kids.
For God's sake.
Do you remember what the first time you drank alcohol was like?
No, not. I mean, I remember. There's bits and pieces
Okay.
of like, breaking into my dad's, liquor storage and fucking, look at us, we're stupid. But it was, it's. No, I don't really have any like fun 16-year-old retard drinking stories.
I didn't know how much to drink when I first started drinking. One night I just decided, I'm like, my dad, he drank Jim Beam all the time. And I'm like, you know what? Tonight's the night.
Yeah.
I'm going to go steal some Jim Beam. I'm going to get a little drunk.
Yeah.
But I only saw my parents drink, and they were alcoholics, so they drank a fucking lot. So I'm like, oh, you have to drink a lot to be able to feel it.
Sure.
So I take a coffee cup like this, probably the same size as this, and I fill it up.
With what?
With Jim Beam. I fill it up fully because I'm like, oh, 1 cup is about, usually you drink a cup of coffee, you drink a cup of water, you drink a cup of liquor. So I go into my room was in the basement. So I fill a cup full of liquor, and then I sneak into my basement and I have it, and I'm like, okay, I know it tastes bad, so I have to drink it all at once, of course, because I don't want the bad taste. Yeah. So my first drinking experience is drinking a full cup of liquor, and then I'm like, what do you do? So I'm playing Call of Duty with my friends, and 5 minutes later, I'm like, something is wrong. Something is going wrong.
How are you not throwing up everywhere?
I'm like, oh fuck, I need to throw up.
Yeah.
I walk upstairs and I just projectile vomit all over the floor. Jesus. It's everywhere. So then I'm just drunkenly cleaning up the vomit residue. And then I eventually just went to bed. And the next night I'm like, you know what? Okay, drink half as much.
Jesus.
And then I learned.
Fucking Christ.
Have you ever gotten alcohol poisoning before?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Hospital bad or
No, not hospital bad. Take care of yourself and hide it from your dad and tell him you have the flu bad, though.
Okay. Well, I got it hospital bad one time.
What happened?
So I'm 14 years old, and I'm going up north hunting with my grandfather. Me and my little brother are going. He's supposed to pick us up at 11 in the morning. We're going to go on a drive, and it's a really long drive, and I get very bored on long drives.
Yeah.
So 14-year-old me, who's learned the inner workings of alcoholism at this point, is like, okay, if I drink a little beforehand, it'll make the drive a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So I wake up in the morning. I know he's coming in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I sneak to the Jim Beam. I take a little sip, and I'm like, okay, we're good. I'm get all my things ready to go. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, you know what? He's not here yet. I should take another little sip. And then I black the fuck out because it's 11 in the morning. I haven't eaten and I've just started drinking. I wake up and I come to, and there's people around me looking at me going, Avery, what's wrong? What's happening? And I'm like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's happening. I black out. I come to, I'm in a car and people are driving me somewhere and they're like, Avery, what's happening? I'm like, I have no idea what's happening. I black out. I come to, I'm in a hospital. There's doctors around me. They are thinking I have like a brain aneurysm at this point because they don't know that I'm drunk. And apparently they can't smell that I'm out of my mind right now. But eventually I black out and then I come to and it's a doctor going like, you have a blood alcohol level of 0.33. They're like, the fact that you're alive right now at this age is amazing. And then I eventually go home and they're just like, we don't know, we can't do anything with you. Like they gave me an IV and then they just sent me home. And then for 2 days I was in like a literal, like shaky, panicky hell. And that was the time I got alcoholism.
Jesus Christ.
I'm trying to think of the other those are like most of the wild stories I have. Because most people, when they look at me, they don't assume that I've had a weird past. But I dropped out of high school. I smoked crack. I robbed a gas station. I dropped out of college too. Like I feel like I'm a very weird enigma of like looking prim and proper and kind of like if you meet me and you talk to me, you're like, oh, this guy has a good head on his shoulders. Like he kind of knows what's up. But then once you get to know me, you're like, oh, he does not have a good head on his shoulders. He doesn't really know what's up. But that's all of that. That's good stuff.
Good.
Yeah. I don't really know where to go from the drugstore. I'm trying to think if I have any other good ones. I took acid at a drug test once. That was fun.
Wait, you took acid at?
I was on acid at a drug test.
Okay, all right.
That was a little bit different. I just stayed up the whole night on acid, and then
well, that's kind of what happens. And let you go to sleep.
I took acid with my friends, and then I'm like, I want to smoke weed, but at this time, because I was on probation, I could only smoke weed the day I took the drug test because I had a drug test every single 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, we should go to the drug test, all of me and my friends while we're on acid. It'd be like a fun activity. So then we go there, and I'm just sitting. It's just wild. You know how it is. You're on acid at a drug test, and you're a little bit paranoid. Things are a little bit weird. I was surrounded. It was just me and a bunch of other families in there, and I'm just there paranoid. You know how it is.
Why were you getting drug tested?
Because I broke into the gas station, and then I was on probation.
Oh, so you did acid immediately after that?
Yeah. Well, because acid, you can't drug test for acid. So I was like a smart kid, so I'm like, how do I get around the rules and the regulations of this system?
Oh my
Boom.
Fucking God.
Boom. Boom, baby. Let's get back to real life now though.
Okay.
This new job that I've started,
Yeah.
it's at like a bougie health restaurant, and all of the customers are the worst fucking people. Like when I went there and I started talking to my coworkers, they were like, "Oh, you're gonna hate it here. A lot of our customers are super picky and weird."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Nah, it's gonna be totally fine." And then I started interacting with some of them, and these people are the most and stuff. They're the worst. It's just like if you're rich and you've never been poor, there's just a certain shade of reality that you've never come in contact with. I think I'm very blessed because I grew up both rich and poor. Like my parents were both bankrupt, had no money, got divorced, barely getting by, but my grandparents are super rich, had a bunch of money. So like day to day, I led the life of like a poor person, but then on like weekends and family trips, I got to live the life of like a super rich person. So I got both the poor culture and the rich culture all at the same time.
That's
which is
fun.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you more cultured and
Well-rounded.
Able to understand the world better.
Sure.
X Games were on this week. We're just going to keep jumping around. I don't know where the fuck to go. I've lost momentum. X Games are on. The Super Bowl is on. Do you love the X Games?
I was a big fan when I was a kid. Tony Hawk is the man.
See, I'm all about female snowboarding.
Okay.
I try to watch male snowboarding,
I get into that.
but I can't get into it. But I love female snowboarding.
X Games. What's the old schedule for the X Games? Let's see.
It's I think we just got replays now and shit. It was just all last week, and it was my whole.
Oh, it's
last
over.
weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your favorite moment?
Probably the women's big air I don't fucking know.
Probably can't watch this without getting sued by the internet. Yeah, I miss the X Games.
Yeah.
Honestly, I used to watch this shit all the time when I was a kid.
I wish female sports were like more popular. Like I wish it was as culturally significant as male sports.
Sure.
Because I was watching football recently with one of my female friends, and she doesn't usually like football, but she got really into it, and she was like actively watching. And then I realized that she was watching and into it because she wanted to fuck the players.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which made me jealous because I'm like, I wish I wanted to fuck the players. Because if I loved football,
I mean, women's sports exist. You could do
I
that.
know, but if I loved football as much as I do now, and I wanted to fuck the players, I would be an NFL head coach. Like that would be my whole entire life would be dedicated to football.
Okay.
So I'm like, I wish, like I would.
It's probably not healthy, but okay.
But it maybe. I mean, it seems a little. That's my passion.
Just wanting to fuck players, so you become involved in the sport. Yeah, it seems.
You're right. That isn't healthy.
Jesus
it's probably
Christ.
bad.
No, it's terrible. That is shitting where you eat every day.
Don't shit where you eat.
Don't do that.
You're right. I wouldn't be a head coach. I'd just be a super fan.
That's why I tell every fucking comedian I meet, don't fuck comics. Do not fuck other comedians.
No,
don't
that's
do
bad news.
There's
players.
like 3 successful comedy relationships in Chicago. That's it.
I'm
don't
not.
do it.
I'm not willing to risk it. I only do it with actual coworkers at actual jobs.
Yeah, well, that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
my wife is a former coworker, so that's don't fuck your dream.
Don't fuck your dream.
Don't fuck your dream.
Don't fuck anything near your dream.
Yeah. Keep your dick away from your dream, and your pussy away from your dream.
Do you think women's like NFL will like the Women's National Football League will ever get any traction?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Why? I think it's such a good idea.
This is a trap. I'm not going to talk about this. But no.
Are you saying that women are as good at football as men? Because that's ridiculous.
I'm saying women are different at football than men.
They're different at football?
Yeah.
They need to create a new sport then that women are. Is that even a trap?
Is
that a trap too?
This is so dangerous to talk about live on the internet right now.
Okay.
Women are good at stuff and men are good at stuff.
I want more women football players so I enjoy the sport more. We can end it right there. That's all we need.
It's probably the smart thing. Get all Joe Rogan on this shit.
Yeah. Trans athletes.
Please don't. That's what everyone wants to hear.
know.
A couple of straight white dudes talking about trans.
I don't
people in
care.
sports.
Do whatever the fuck you want.
Oh my God, Avery.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. Coming from the kid who cut his feet open stealing from a gas station.
Okay, don't do most of the things that you want to do. Only do some of the things that you want to do that are good for you. That's the advice I give.
That's so specific.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
It's fantastic. I'm back serving tables though, and I fucking hate it. I hate being 26 years old and serving tables and being like, oh, this is my life.
Yeah, pour one out for the servers out there.
Yeah.
Dude. I don't envy you at all. Because everyone, I'm assuming everyone who goes to restaurants right now is like, they're the worst people on earth right now.
Yeah.
They're like, I need to go out. And that also means I don't need to wear masks because masks are stupid.
But here's the deal. I'm at like a health restaurant though. So it's like people with serious cognitive dissonance where either they don't care about coronavirus at all.
Yeah, they're yoga moms because
yeah.
they're drinking lime juice and, rubbing fucking echinacea on their pussies.
So it's a confusing mix of people.
Yeah.
And I actually like wearing the mask at work. Like as a server, I want to wear the mask all the fucking time. It makes my job so much easier that people can't see my face.
Yeah.
Another thing I've realized is some people are way more attractive with the mask on.
Oh, yeah, you're hiding all the worst parts of you.
I know. And then I just see their eyes, and then I make up what I think their face looks like, and then they take the mask off, and I'm like, oh, put the mask back on.
Yeah. I just got catfished.
I know.
It's so easy
By
to catfish
eyes.
people now.
It's so this new girl that I met, it was like such a weird thing where I'm like, I have to see you without your mask on. Like it's like a weird she takes it off. I'm like trying to sneak a peek.
Right, yeah.
What does your face fucking
Yeah,
look
it's like taking off all your clothes.
It's even more though, because
Yeah.
usually with your body you can see like a rough outline.
Right.
With the mask, you have no fucking idea
You know,
what's
if their teeth
going
are all
on.
jacked up
Exactly.
or yeah.
I have bad teeth too, so it's such a joy.
What do you mean you have bad teeth?
Like my teeth are just stained from
sure.
fucking
Coffee and
crack and coffee and
Yeah.
smoking cigarettes my whole life. I have like bad. So I love the mask. Do you think the masks are gonna go away?
No, never.
Yeah.
We're Japan now. That's it.
It's our new T-shirt. It's like shirt, shoes, masks, no service.
Yeah. But I mean, that's I'm down. I don't give a shit. I'd rather wear a mask. It's disgusting out there. People are gross.
Yeah, at first I was like, this is fuck, I want my freedom, I want everything. But then at a certain point, I'm like, I just don't care.
I don't have to smell anyone's breath
Yeah.
anymore.
Honestly, with the winter too, it's perfect to wear a mask outside because it covers your face.
Yeah, there's so many benefits
Yeah.
that we didn't even think of. It's great.
I want better, like, I don't know, style masks are going to come in. It's going to become a part of fashion.
There's already so many, dude. There's like these fancy, like, what is it, like X suit or whatever I'm getting ads for on Facebook, and it's like a really cool looking mask, like very, it's utilitarian, but it's beautiful, like, all that shit. And, make your money, kings. Like, it's fucking, there's a market out there for it.
I went and I bought a nice mask because I was just using the fake.
You kind of have to.
Yeah, I'm like, now I gotta look cool. Now I want to get like a branded one. I'm sure you'll see people with like Gucci and Louis Vuitton. Look up, see if there are Gucci masks.
There's a Burberry mask.
Yeah, because maybe I want to order one. Maybe this is my first purchase of some name brands.
Here we go.
Oh fuck
Here
yeah!
we go.
Let's look how good we're gonna look. Yeah.
See?
How much does it cost?
I'm gonna guess.
Is it under $100?
$300.
If it's under $100,
120. Okay.
that's a deal. That's a fucking steal.
Yeah, for a cotton mask with a pattern on it,
But-
you're such a sucker.
Everyone knows that it's Burberry. Everyone is
Machine wash up to 20 times before you throw it in the garbage.
It's got 20 wears. That thing costs 75 cents to make. Maybe.
Oh, for sure, dude.
If that. Look up Gucci. I'm sure Gucci's are better quality. Burberry, it just looks like cotton. Gucci, you buy Gucci. Oh,
Under Armour. What is this? Hold on. We gotta. Oh, it's Etsy. Okay, now that's a fucking Mortal
sick.
Kombat looking shit right there.
that's fucking
I'm down for
sick.
this, bro. And it's cheaper than that other bullshit.
And it's full metal? How much does it weigh? Check if there are reviews for this. Check if there is somebody actually who bought it.
There's a lot of 5 stars here.
Oh my god.
It is a cool mask, 4 stars.
That's a fake review.
This is my favorite thing
Wait,
in the world.
this is the coolest thing I will own. It's cool, comfy, and these are all fake reviews.
Oh, look at this guy.
Oh,
Girl, whatever. This fucking.
who knows? It could be a guy. It's 2021.
Look at this person.
Yeah. Look at this they.
This is my favorite thing in the world. It is so impressive, and I feel like a celebrity when I wear it. Compliments every Tuesday. Okay.
If I saw somebody with that, I would assume that they are in the entertainment
famous,
business.
yeah.
Yeah, because you're like, how else do you have that kind
Don't
of
look at me.
confidence?
But look at me.
I might get this. Where if your server came up and they had like a metal sheer mask, you'd tip them more. You'd be like, oh,
Oh, for sure.
yeah,
There's no Gucci mask. Gucci is not in on the mask play yet.
they'll get there. They're always behind the time. Everybody knows
Oopsie,
that.
sorry. Those Gucci face masks aren't real.
You gotta make your own out of like a bag.
Billie Eilish with a fake Gucci mask? Dude, are you fucking chill? Look at you.
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
fucking Billy.
Yeah, so sorry, kids. If you want to waste your money, you got to go Burberry.
Mm-hmm.
20 washes for $120.
No, if you're gonna waste your money, you get the metal like Sub-Zero
Yeah, you get
full mask.
Yeah.
I might actually get that. That's a purchase
Please,
that's worth it.
Please don't.
Why? If I came in here next time with like a full metal, and I'm like, oh, I wear it. I would wear it the whole podcast too. Maybe that's my new look. Like a lot of people have aviator glasses. I'm just like I wear a big metallic mask and I don't take
do what
it
you
off.
want to do. I'm not gonna judge you openly, but I will judge you.
That's fine.
internally.
But that's how good bad press is all press is good press, and the metal sheer mask
What
might
a
give me
healthy
some.
way to think.
Yeah. Look up, see what Billie Eilish is up to nowadays. She's probably very sad with this quarantine happening. If she's that sad regularly with like regular life going on. Wait, was the number one question, is Billie Eilish a dude? Interesting. No, right there.
What?
Some people, she's a dude.
Billie Eilish is not a boy. She is female. December 15th. How do you not know that?
Well, you look at her and you're like, who knows what's going on there?
Let's see what's going on with Billie Eilish.
Oh,
This is the Billie Eilish segment of the Avery Hutto Show. We're going to talk to executive produce Peggy Lee biopic. That's cool. Yeah, wow. We talked about almost dying from alcohol poisoning. We talked about crack. And now
we're on to Billy.
We're talking about Billy.
Yeah. I've been trying to get into more of like sad music lately, so I've been listening to more Billie Eilish and Kid Cudi and all this stuff the kids are listening to. Look at that. That's high fashion right there. That's how I dressed when I was 6 years old.
Something.
I never knew that all of the things that my mom made me wear when I was a child that I hated are now all of the coolest things.
Oh, look at this shit.
That's
See,
not real. That's not covering any droplets.
Don't wear a mask that looks like that.
No, no droplets are getting covered by that. We're supposed to wear 2 to 3 masks.
Look at
now.
her nails too. Jesus Christ.
Those are hot.
Those Louis V's.
Yeah.
All right, we need to get off it.
This is ruining the show. Have you seen the 2 to 3 mask mandate now?
Yeah.
Where they don't want you to wear one, but they're like,
I'm wearing hella masks when I go out.
A couple?
If I'm sitting on a bus, you better believe I'm wearing at least 2 masks.
I sat on the bus today, and then I had my coffee, and I snuck a sip. I was on the back, and there was nobody near me, and I felt like a little kid in middle school where they're like, no eating on the bus, and I'm like, but I just want a little sip, so I snuck it in the back. I said, there was nobody on the bus. It was just me in the back of the bus.
No air hangs out, right?
How long does air hang out?
Longer than it takes you to sip.
You're right. Okay. No more sips on the bus.
No more
Fine.
fucking bus sips.
Fine. No more.
You're really gonna risk your health and frankly my health over a sip of coffee on
There's no one around.
Bus.
There was no one around me. Just had a coffee.
Oh, their ghost was there.
I went to the coffee shop today, and because I'm an old man, I get a red eye, so I get a coffee and then I have espresso with it.
Yeah.
But then I want a second cup to go underneath the cup to keep my coffee warm.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the guy for a second cup, and he did not like that I wanted a second cup.
They usually just do that by default.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, can I get a second cup? And he's like, actually, our cups are insulated, so you don't need a second cup. And I'm like, yeah, I just kind of want like a second cup.
Sure.
And he's like, yeah, here's a second cup. Here you go. And now I can't go back to that coffee shop anymore.
Yeah, because you're a 2-cup guy.
I'm a 2-cup guy.
They're talking about you every day now.
I know.
Oh shit, it's 2-cup guy.
It's 2-cup guy. The older I
believe us.
the older I get, the more old manish I get. And one of those new qualities is having 2 cups around my coffee.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is America. It's not too much
to
ask, you know.
Here's my grandfather's coffee order when he goes someplace. He wants a half caffeinated, half decaf coffee with 2 shots of decaf espresso in a double paper cup.
I mean, it's a man who knows what he likes.
And he's so inspiring to me. Like the fact that he goes every single coffee shop and he's like, this is exactly what I want. But he's like super picky at a restaurant, but he has money, so he always tips well. So it's very fun to watch him be like the most annoying person in the world, where he's like, I want this, this, and this. Watch the server get super upset and be like, this old man is an asshole. And then I get to wait and like watch them get kind of upset with him, but be like, okay, he's an old man and wants what he wants. And then at the end, he just tips huge.
Yeah.
And then their minds are like blown.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this guy's an asshole, but he's like a
and
nice...
that's one of those moves too, where it's like, oh, this guy's not going to tip anything.
Exactly. Because you're like, oh, if he wants a half calf, half regular with 2 shots of decaf, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
But no, he's a great man. He's a great man.
It's good to know those people still exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're out there.
Yeah.
He is a Republican, though, so you know, it's danger.
Oh my fucking god.
What do you think about what Biden's been up to lately?
I think he's Joe Biden fucking sucks, okay?
Wait, what?
Joe Biden sucks.
Joe Biden sucks?
Joe Biden's the...
Wait, has Joe Biden sucked for 45 years and nobody knew about it? And
Yeah.
did he write the 1994 crime bill and is an extremely racist,
Yeah.
evil old man that we just elected president with the top prosecutor who has a horrible record of treating...
Well, according to
black and
Fox
brown
News,
people?
he's the most leftist extreme president we've ever had.
He's like the most Republican president we've had in 50 years.
Dude, for God's sake, he just lowered they lowered the 1,400 to people with 50K, which like 50K ain't rich. 50K is middle class. Like that's 50K is not rich.
No, it's not. I made that serving.
Yeah.
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 I might not get the stimulus.
I think a lot of servers made that, and like, who got hit the hardest? Servers.
Yes. And they're not. I don't think I qualify for this new stimulus. No.
What did you? So it's your 2019 taxes.
I know 2019 was a great year for me. I worked at but I don't have that job anymore. Is the thing. So I had a great job for like
garbage, dude.
yeah. I worked fucking part-time, but I just made fucking money. Didn't save it all because I was stupid.
Well, there was no incentive to save. Everyone was killing it.
Yeah, so I was just killing it, making money, spending money, and now I just don't get the stimulus. I don't think I qualify. I made like $51,000.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh, I'm fucked. And then but this year I've been on unemployment, and now I'm working like a nice serving job, but it's not near the amount of money.
Well, it
that I
can't
was making.
possibly be.
But he is doing. Did you see the $3,000 for kids proposal that he's putting up?
No.
So he wants to add to the stimulus for every child you have, you get $3,000. So that's something that's good for people who aren't me. But what about me?
Yeah.
What about me?
Well, fucking better pump some love into somebody so you can get that $3K.
You're right. Now's the time.
But it's still like, $1,400 is not $2,000.
No, it's not. It's still something though.
No.
It's more money to put into Dogecoin.
No, because see, that's
$1,400 directly into
exactly
Doge.
right.
I saw they
Look at
pulled
that.
it up.
Look at
It's
that
at
shit.
73 cents.
Doggy coin is up.
Just a reminder, if you would have invested when we told you to invest in Dogecoin.
First of all, no one told you to do anything.
When we would have brought up the fact that Dogecoin was a reality, you'd have almost doubled your money.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Like,
You'd have doubled your
first of
money.
all, look at this. Isn't this a pretty little chart? Of
That's
Dogecoin?
beautiful. I bought at that peak.
I bought right here,
Nice.
and
Where'd
then
you
I
sell?
sold right here. So I made like 1,000.
That's still pretty fucking good.
It's good. If I sold here, I wouldn't even be talking to anybody. But here's what I'll say about Doggy Coin. Doggy Coin is not. It's not real.
But if in this current reality that we live in, nothing is real.
No. This is a lie. And it's also right now it's tanking. It just hit look at this straight line down. This Doggy Coin.
Oh, great time. Buy the dip?
No.
Right? Buy
Nope.
the dip?
Nope.
Is that where?
Nope.
Don't buy the dip.
This is gonna go all the way back down to fucking like
0.0000000. Yeah.
Dude, Doggy Coin was
Oh, it's diving. We're watching. Yeah.
it was created as a joke.
Yes, but
It's also Doggy Coin is it's like the dollar. You can make more, which is why it's bad.
Oh, because
You can just print Dogecoin whenever you want.
Who prints it? Is there a guy in charge?
Yeah.
Is he a nice guy? Is he trustworthy?
He made a fucking cryptocurrency as a joke.
But he's got to be like a billionaire now.
Oh, for sure. This is
'cause he can
probably
just
him.
print-
This is right now is probably him selling everything. That
and just
straight line down.
or just printing it more. Just he doesn't even need to sell. He could just print more.
do not buy Doggy Coin.
This is like a active Ponzi scheme. Do you think this is like a
Yes.
cryptocurrency Ponzi
Yes.
scheme?
Dude, if I was Elon Musk, knowing the power that I had
Yeah.
in my tweets, I would put like half of my net worth into Doggy Coin, then tweet about it.
Cut
then
it right
wait
there.
till it gets to 7, and then sell it. This is probably Elon selling all his Doggy Coin right here.
He might be doing that though. Is the thing because he is tweeting about it, and you're either
And it's not even illegal because crypto's unregulated.
Is it illegal to tweet about stocks like that?
I
I think you just have to say you're a stock owner, or you have to say like you support.
You have to, if you work as a broker and you have confirmed insider knowledge, I think it's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this straight fucking line, dude.
Buy.
You want to get on this? You want to get on this fucking roller coaster to hell?
I put $100 in it just to see what would happen.
I mean, $100.
Yeah,
Fine.
that's what I did.
Throw it in the garbage.
I've now it's $150.
But look at this, dude. Live on the air. It is going straight back down to hell. It's lost what, like 6% since we started talking about it.
But that's still since I bought it though. Fucking up 50%. I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
If I would have bought
day.
3 days ago, I'd be up 100%.
3 months ago, I threw $5 in it, and then I took it out like a month later. But that $5 would
It'd
be
be
worth
like $50
at least. Yeah.
No, doggy coin is don't do it. If you want to actually, well, unless you're trying to have fun, then play the slots. See,
This is
look,
gambling.
It's going right back up,
Because
but it's gonna go right back down.
I don't think so. I think this is it. This
You
is
think Doggy's gonna hit $1?
I think Doggy isn't just gonna hit. Look at this spike we're seeing right here. I love watching numbers move now. It's become my new passion.
They're pumping, dude.
Pump it.
The Doge pump is real, but
It
that's
is so real.
What it is. It's a pump and dump, dude. This is fake. This isn't Bitcoin. This isn't even Ethereum. It's not any of the other shit coins. This is wow. See, look at these wild
It's
swings.
just pumping though. It's just people can't stop.
That may just be someone pulling the print more lever.
Yeah. But it's just such a fascinating thing though, because even though it is fake, I could see it catching on and it becoming like a regulatory agency coming up and being like, we're gonna make Dogecoin a real thing. Like it might happen.
No,
In the state of the world we live in.
No. I know we live in clown world right now, but there's no fucking way that doggy coin becomes a legitimate currency.
All it takes, though, is one company, like a big corporation, say a Starbucks or a Target. They go, listen, you can, on Sundays is Doge Day. You can pay for your drinks using your Doge. Just as like a bit. All they would need to do it as a bit. If I'm the CEO of Starbucks, I put $1 million into Doge, and then I start accepting it at my stores.
That's a fair point.
Like that's not illegal now.
But there's ways to prosecute that, I'm sure.
But I think you could, with the right lawyers, you get evil man Alan Dershowitz on your team. I think he could make some magic happen
people are
and get
hiring
you.
the Dersh these days.
Yeah, you just find an evil man who's willing to do anything for money, and you say, "You get me out of this situation. I'm gonna pump Dogecoin to $1," or just say like,
"You have any idea how fucking high the market cap would have to be for Doggy to hit a fucking $1?"
I literally know nothing about it other than watching these numbers right now.
Like everyone in
the
America
picture.
would have to put their entire life savings in a dog for
Really?
it to hit $1. Yeah, like there's no way.
But the TikTok kids, that's who I'm believing in when it comes to Doge. All the TikTok kids love Dogecoin. All the people on Twitter, because they don't know anything about the financial market or how cryptocurrencies work, they just read Elon Musk's tweets and then it's just like a bandwagon effect.
I mean, yeah, that's literally what's happening.
I love it.
Every time Elon tweets, here, you can even watch, you can gauge. Okay, Elon tweeted right there.
Yep.
He tweeted right there, right there, and right there, and right there. And that was the initial pump. Then he tweeted again right there.
I love how he tweeted at one point, like, I'm going to get off Twitter because I realize I have too much power and, like, I'm influencing the markets.
He was gone for like 16 hours.
And then he came right back and he can't stop. He can't
here we
fucking
go. Roller
stop.
coaster go down. Here we go. Look at this. Do not. If you bought Doggy Coin at 1/10 of a cent.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yep.
You are now a millionaire.
Yep. Sell.
Or
Or hold. Diamond hands, baby.
no.
Sell. Get your money.
Get out of my house.
Or at least make your principal back and then keep the rest.
I mean,
just for fun.
if you bought it at 1/10 of a cent. Must have been a fire truck. But Jay likes to howl at fire truck.
Got it.
If you bought at 1/10 of a cent, you are rich.
Mhm.
Please give me money. If you bought at 5 cents, I mean, dude, like, get out right now.
Maybe I should create like a
That's not
Dogecoin wallet and accept
My
like
fucking God.
all my pay. Like if you want to donate to the show, you can only donate in Doge.
Let's make it. If you're gonna do that,
Not Bitcoin, not Ethereum, not the ones that are backed by huge financial institutions.
Bitcoin's not backed by anything. Bitcoin is backed by the people.
But isn't Ethereum backed by like JP Morgan?
Yeah, which is why I don't trust it.
But that's why I trust it.
The whole point of cryptocurrency is to get away from central banking.
But is that possible?
Yes.
You think so?
You're looking at the proof right now. This is proof that that's possible. Bitcoin is the proof.
I'm scared of Bitcoin still.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe it's the mystery of it. Because it isn't
I'll help you solve these mysteries right now.
Okay, what stops the value from dissipating? What stops a free fall?
I mean, the same thing that stops any like stock or faith in any currency. Currency in and of itself is the value of currency is derived from the amount of people willing to believe that it's worth something.
Okay.
And there are certain, like, I get the feeling of safety with JP Morgan backing something. It's like, oh, here's all these people with all this money are behind this. And like, yeah, that's nice, but it also means they help control it.
True.
Which is a problem.
Yes.
The problem that Bitcoin solves is that it's completely and totally decentralized.
Okay.
And everyone who owns Bitcoin checks and verifies the price of Bitcoin and the value of Bitcoin. Like in the intrinsic value of Bitcoin and the actual monetary value of Bitcoin. Ethereum and XRP and Stellar and all that stuff. It's nice, but it's not like it's people, like specific groups of people control that.
Okay.
Nobody controls Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the best comparison is gold. Bitcoin is an analog or a digital actually version of gold. It's gold has utility. It conducts electricity well. It's pretty. You can do things. It's malleable. And it's pretty.
Yes.
So like it has
Bitcoin
all
is
of these
pretty.
things. Bitcoin is secure because it uses blockchain technology. It's decentralized, meaning no one can control it. It's everyone who's on the blockchain checks and verifies the blockchain together. Which is its utility as the base layer of how currency should operate, and really digital security should operate going into the future. It's and you can't print more of it. Both of them are finite.
Yes.
Bitcoin there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. You can't print more. Just like there's only a certain amount of gold in the earth. Except there's even less Bitcoin on Earth than there is gold on Earth.
True.
It's the most scarce asset I think we have, and that's why it's better than money, because you can just print money as much as you want. Bitcoin is inflation proof.
I have to pee so bad.
Me too.
Where are we at right now?
Me too. We're in hour 1.
Okay.
We can actually pick up Bitcoin next week.
Oh, yes, because I have to pee so bad.
So do here, do your sign off or whatever you gotta do.
Okay. Thank you very much for watching another episode of the Avery Hutto Show. Check us out on Facebook at Avery Hutto Show. Follow me on Instagram at Avery B. Hutto. People of Comedy on Facebook. Thank you very much for listening.